Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kasie.Oswald. Who's with me today?
I am Cindy Bennett from the iPad group.
I'm Danny, and my channel's Danny Happy Farms, Louisiana.
Today we're talking about, I was gonna say ESL or VIPKid students, but really it can be for any students. We're gonna talk a little bit about different ways we can help students, and we've kind of tried to come up with a few categories. Shy kids, slow readers, distracted kids. Danny came up with this awesome idea. Danny, you wanna start us off?
Sure. This is one of the things that can scare you in the beginning, so I think this will be a great topic for new teachers. There's so many different kinds of students. I had one today, and she's my regular, and one day she'll be totally on it, and the next day she just doesn't care. And so I've gone through everything with her to try to get her to care. Online, it's so different than in the classroom. In the ways that you can engage them, you can't move positions or go do something else. You're just here. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, but for that student today was her off day, and she'll click off of the internet and pretend like she's having issues. On those days, there's nothing I can do for her. And I just try to, do you want me to read one line and you read the other? No. Okay, so sometimes there's nothing you can do, and that's okay too, right? You just do your best, but I'm excited to learn some more things that you guys have.
It's interesting that you talked about kids having on days and off days. So I have one that kind of had a few off days in a row, and I wrote it in the feedback, and I even said, distracted the first 15 minutes of class, but participated very well the last 10 minutes, and they canceled all future classes with me.
Oh no.
5. And she's a priority booking at 2:30 in the morning. I've been taking her. But the scariest part for me was worrying that I was gonna get less than 5 apples. As a teacher, that stinks that I had to worry about that, because am I gonna worry about that the next time I feel like I need to tell the truth about a student? You know what I mean?
Always say something positive. Like today I have a student that I want to work on him not being choppy with his speaking. So I had to think of a way of saying that without sounding like he did something wrong. I don't know what your situation is, but I have been honest with parents, but it always pillow it with positive words.
We're saying, okay, so do we tell the parents or not? And I say, for sure, tell them, because sometimes the parents aren't in the room. Like with my student, she's older. So maybe the parents don't know that she's slacking.
Yeah,
This is the one I sent a note to the LP twice asking for parent support.
Yeah.
Because she's a young level 2. Sarah said, I had one today that I didn't give him the 5th star because he refused to participate, read, answer. I let the parents know and gave the 5th one after the fact.
I really liked the girl that you interviewed. What was her name? She's on top of it. She's a teacher. The kids are gonna do it her way, and she's gonna serve the parents, and she's the boss of her classroom. If that's not your personality, don't try to make it your personality.
Right.
But you can think about that and think, I don't have to bend over backwards to help people that don't want to do the program.
Right, and that's very hard for me. I want to bend over backwards and help everybody.
That's why you have us. That's why you have us. We'll help you. Evelyn did a really good video, and since she can't speak today, I will help. I will put a plug in for Evelyn. And I never really had a student like that until last week. The parents were like, oh no, she's not going to do anything. What are we going to do? So then I just got really soft. And I was like, hello. It kind of got her interested to come closer and use a puppet. So that was just quietly singing and waiting, and don't be too anxious to get things going.
Have I scared kids? Probably. Because I'm like, hi!
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm very overwhelming to some. I know it. I guess I get too excited at first, but then I can recognize their reaction and be like, okay. Danny, what do you have for us?
Singing that's a great idea. I don't like to sing, but my puppets can sing, and just not making them talk right away, but letting them watch you talk, and letting them know that you're nice. Because when you're like, hello, my name, and they're just like, whoa. So step it back a little and don't make them talk talk right away because I think sometimes they feel the pressure.
Yeah.
They don't know how to speak any, especially trials. So having fun and singing something they know, Twinkle Twinkle, ABCs, something like that. And making them laugh. I forgot that. Yeah.
Hello.
Bunny puppets. You know, if make them laugh, definitely.
I do have
throwing things like, wow, you know, a little crazy.
Hello. How are you? I'm fine.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, I've used this a lot for the bigger kids, you know, they get a kick out of it.
Sometimes this is good with Shy when you're like, peekaboo.
Aw.
Peekaboo, and get them to play with you.
Yes.
Evelyn mentioned slow readers have a special place in her heart because she really struggled with reading, and I struggled with reading comprehension. What do you guys do for slow readers?
I take turns.
Yeah.
Said, do you want to read one sentence and I read one sentence just to kind of move it along? Or if it's really bad, sometimes you have to read a lot of it if they cannot read well. Is that terrible?
I did have a student like that. I thought, if I'm not going to pitch in here, we're never going to finish in 25 minutes. And he was kind of a regular with me. And I basically read the whole story, but we finished like 25 minutes. So if I had let him read it all, we would have never finished. But I think that's okay because they're listening. You know, they're still getting good pronunciation practice. And then he did all the other activities out loud.
And listening for fluency. I mean, they need to hear good fluency to be able to model or use good fluency. Are you guys certified in story time? In story time, they call it popcorn reading. They get to choose whether they're the red reader or the blue reader. Popcorn reading.
I always forget that one. To just call it something official, and then it sounds like you're...
Sometime, but it's starting to take a while, then I might echo read rather than popcorn reading. But if I don't have a lot of time, popcorn reading is a lot quicker.
Echo reading's a good idea. That'd probably be better if you have time.
Yeah.
Underline and say, now you read.
So for those that don't know, echo reading is when you read and then they echo you. So they read back.
If there's a lot of reading, you can do a little bit of each, you know, because you do want to make sure they say the words and get some practice of speaking and stuff like that.
Definitely.
They should be speaking on each slide. And I think no matter what level, that's gonna, so if you read the whole thing, then you could ask questions afterwards and then get them speaking. Can we start with low level distracted and move to upper level?
Sure.
It's kind of different.
I think it is different, yeah.
What do you guys do for low level distracted? I haven't had one in a long time.
I think I distract them from their distraction. Throwing something up in the camera, throwing a song on, they're like, oh wait, what? Anything to bring them back here.
I'd say your coolest prop. Like for me, like I'll get this alligator and he's biting my nose. You
That's
know, like
cute.
something that, if that's a boy, that's a good one. But you know, I have a giant snake, but just something to bring their attention that they cannot not look at, even just for a little bit.
One thing I do is I'll go to my whiteboard. I got on the Drawing Reward Facebook group, and there's a bunch of drawings you can do with just a circle, and I'll be like, what is it? And then I'll put it down, and like throughout the class, I will add to it. And this one is a bird, but there's a bunch of different ones. And I did a whole bunch, like I was doing them regularly. But
that's good because then they want to watch what's happening next.
And also you can say, go get a piece of paper and do it with me. And you say, draw a circle, draw another circle, and have them say it. Circle, circle. And so you're speaking as well as drawing. That has worked really well for a lot of the boys that were like not interested in reading at all. So like I have all these, I printed these out. I think they're on that group. So there's the bird.
Oh.
And they have like steps. You can also get some of these on Pinterest. Every time you give a star, you draw a part of the picture.
Danny, let's talk about older kids. I think their distractions and busy are kind of different. At least that's where I'm going with it. What do you think?
Playing a video game on their phone.
I have one that does that. Oh my word, yeah.
So you can tell them you're not going to give them their stars, or you can promise them their favorite reward at the end if they do their work.
I think games are good for the older kids. Guess the word, or even just get some cards and just throughout the lesson, just, you know, you go tell me when to stop. They'll stop and get a number. And then you can keep track of that during the class. And then they just love it when I get all animated, like, I'm gonna win, or, you know, whatever. And so they just think that's hilarious. I don't think they see that much emotion in most people.
Yeah.
So teacher versus student is a good one. Yeah. So you can go against them and put it up on your whiteboard. Teacher points, student points, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I usually just tell them I can't give them the star until they participate. Usually that's how I get them to go to do it.
Do I need to call VIPKid to come to the classroom? That's what I'll say. I'll threaten them.
That's good. I like that.
You can relate it to their life. I forgot to mention this. So I'll be like, so if you were Columbus, first of all, Columbus is pictured. He looks like a girl. So we always laugh at that. But then, you know, what would you do? Where would you want to go? You know, make it involve them, because that's important. I've had those, and I have one at a different company, but the first class she cried in mom's lap pretty much the whole time, and we just went through the lesson. And then now she's a 4-year-old who is amazing. She could be in like 3 VIP kids. She's so great. So just keep going and do all those songs and keep smiling, right?
I was talking about one that I got done in 20 minutes today. I usually pace really well. I don't usually get done that soon, but I had 5 minutes to fill. I got out my farm book. I don't know what happened to it, but I sang Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but I was scrambling. Like, I was like, what am I gonna do? And I usually don't do that. Like, I've never had that happen to me. But that's a good suggestion, is to have a book there just in case, and to have a plan if you do end up with a really smart student.
Well, I have one that happened to me, and it really upset me. Back, I think it was last Chinese New Year or some kind of holiday, and my student was in a restaurant. I'm talking the loudest restaurant. I mean, people must have been just having a great time. They were yelling, and it hurt my ears, so I turned the volume way down. Just why? Like, why not just cancel your class? It was very, very rough. And I
have had classes like that.
The student just didn't care. He didn't want to be there. And I had to move on from having my feelings hurt. I felt disrespected, and I felt all kind of ways. And I went on the hutong and I talked about how I felt. I don't do that anymore. But they were like, well, come on, get used to it. You know, they're going to be taking classes all over the place. So my advice for that is turn your volume way down so you don't hurt your own ears, and just rock out the best you can. And sometimes they can't even hear you because they don't have a headset. So maybe use your whiteboard. I don't know.
I did have one kid. Okay, I've had a couple situations. One time the kid was talking to me, and I think the father was near the microphone going,
oh.
But one time the kid I could tell he had one earbud in, and he was talking, but I could hear him kind of faintly. My intuition was telling me that earbud is near someone else, because I could hear some noise happening louder than the student. So at that point, I just took a stab, and I contacted the fireman and said, can you tell the student to put both earbuds in? And then it worked. If it's a brother or sister, I look at it like an opportunity. Like, if they're not taking classes with VIPKid and they like it, then they'll want to do it too. But if they were doing it like every single lesson, then I think that's against the rules. But once in a while, I don't think it's
right to the LP if it happens more than once.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Casey.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Bye. Bye, Danny.
Bye.